Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is the weekly talk. This week we are touching on these topics here. The Vader rework we got today, or yesterday by the time you watch this. My initial thoughts on the Jedi Knight Luke event and the kit. The login character for the month of July. And my free-to-play gearing that I am doing before signing up for the Grand Arena. And this week's Territory Wars. And a couple thoughts on the channel to wrap up the video. So some good news in the game. We have a Darth Vader touch-up. It's a little weird though, considering CG has said that they don't like to do reworks. It takes the same amount of time as creating a new character, and we all probably would have preferred a Mace Windu rework. It's also doubly weird because they timed this to be after the event, which means most whales and krakens have already whaled on Darth Vader, so this rework is probably not going to generate a lot of income on CG's part. All in all though, it is good news. I am very happy about it. I have a couple quick thoughts. By the time I post this video, there will probably be answers to these questions or these initial thoughts that I have on his kit. When we look here with this stealth dispel when Vader uses Merciless Massacre, and when we look here at Merciless Massacre, how you can ignore taunt but also use it on someone who has taunt. What this is just screaming to me is General Grievous possible counter. That's using Merciless Target onto IG-100 at the start of the encounter, dispelling the taunt on the rest of the droids, and then having massive hits against the rest of them. It still seems like it's missing a piece in order to be an effective Grievous counter. I'm looking forward to trying it out. The other thoughts that I have about this kit is stealth seems to have a lot of benefit with the Mandalorian, at least right now. Maybe with some future Mandalorian characters, stealth might have a larger role in those synergies, and this might be laying the groundwork for a future counter against Mandalorian. Carrie, and when she was around, talked about how they like to do a nesting doll effect, and I think with Vader and with what I'll talk about Jedi Knight Luke coming up, that nesting doll portion needs to be considered when any characters are released. It's also why I like to have a lot of gear and Zetas on hand, so when Vader was released, I was able to immediately take advantage and throw a Zeta onto Vader. So even if you're earlier in the game, there's a lot of benefit to always having at least one Zeta on hand, even if you're still like less than 20 Zetas in. Just keep one extra one on so that if something like this happens in the game, you can take advantage. Like going into this next week of Grand Arena, going into the Territory War, you don't have to wait to be able to put this Zeta on. It's just another opportunity to test these things out before anyone else, not anyone else, but before the entire player base gets a chance to. The majority of the late game player base is probably all going to do the same thing that I am, but earlier in the game, it creates opportunities to have that extra gear, extra Zetas available. We're not going to talk about the kit or anything. I just want to give my thoughts on the event and the character. So the event looked great. I'm looking forward to playing it hopefully next time around. Jedi Knight Luke is who I am going to be going after and using my resources for over the Galactic Legends. Galactic Legends take a ton more resources. I don't care that they are still better than Jedi Knight Luke. That's how it should be. As far as Grand Arena goes, going after him is going to have way less of an impact. More of the characters are good. Even the characters who are bad, like Captain Han, Rolo. Those characters are still better than Resistance Pilot or Rose Tico or Captain Phasma. There's still a lot more use to be gained out of relicking those relicking the characters in the Luke Skywalker event. Even Lando at relics can do a lot of damage. There's just no way to use some of those relic First Order and Resistance characters. On top of that, as I said in the Vader portion of this video, you got to remember nesting dolls. Just because Luke Skywalker is not meta right now or is capable of beating the Galactic Legends does not mean that in the future that is going to be the case. There's probably going to be another character or more progression within the game that is going to at some point allow Jedi Knight Luke to beat the Galactic Legends. There's also a number of conspiracy theories going around about the Jedi Knight Luke kit. There's been suggestion that this is Mace Windu's kit and this was going to be the Mace Windu rework. I don't know, but there's just something very attractive to that theory because it's something we all wanted. There was suggestion that it was going to be worked on, and the timing of this Jedi Knight Luke event was for the monetization of finishing up the current financial quarter strong for Capital Games. In order to push out this event quickly, maybe slapping on Mace Windu's kit onto Jedi Knight Luke just to make sure it happened. So if they were going to use Mace Windu's kit, the way that theory would make more sense for me is if this event was already created during the time of CG Carry. Like, there was a lot of similarities to the Commander Luke event. The event was built with a lot of complexity and thought, which to CG's credit, but I want to say to CG Carry's credit. After the Galactic Legends event and how poorly thought out that was, I don't think CG comes together, the current crop of people there come together and make this type of event. I feel like it was already on the shelf in existence. Like, Jedi Knight Luke was not in the event. You were using Commander Luke in the event. So the event did not have to deal with new kits. Instead, it was just dealing with power levels and relic levels, which they can just scale up within their system. Then they decided to release this event with this Mace Windu kit applied to Jedi Knight Luke. They just have to create new animations. The animations are not the hard part. And that allows CG to release a character that everybody wants in the game quickly and be able to take advantage of making some income before the end of the financial quarter. Again, that's just me pushing a Mace Windu kit conspiracy theory a little bit further, just because I look at how that event was made and I don't want to give CG credit. At least the current people at CG, because of how the game has been running. And hopefully the road ahead comes out later this week and CG can prove me wrong, but this event alone, as good as it was, it doesn't really change things for me. But I am looking forward to going after Jedi Knight Luke hard and unlocking him hopefully next time around, but it might take another 2 cycles. Last news topic is Clone Wars Chewie is the login character for the month of July. I am one of the type of people who do think the login characters usually mean something more often than not. I don't think it's going to mean anything about Clone Wars Chewie himself. It may mean something about Galactic Republic. I do hope so. I would like to see something that would make Lightside Geos have another positive team. It would be great if Galactic Republic meant Mace Windu, but I doubt it. It may mean something with scoundrels. Maybe we get some more Mandalorian characters. I think CG needs to keep releasing Mandalorian characters to keep us pushing our farming, so that if something does happen in the future with like a legendary event for the smugglers or for the Mandalorian characters, that we are constantly in need to farm new characters up in order to take advantage of events. I, for one, am caught up on farming everybody who is on a node. During the May events, I was able to finish up the Resistance heroes and the First Order characters, and I am ready to be hitting the ground hard and running after Mandalorian Karga and Cardoon when they become farmable in a few more weeks. So that would mean, in order for CG to have us keep chasing the carrot, we need to see a couple more Mandalorian characters. So maybe it just means something about scoundrels. For this week, I didn't do a significant amount of gearing. I'm still recovering on all of my gear hordes from the last couple videos where I did a bit more gearing than typical. So I don't have a lot of stun cuffs. I don't have a lot of carbantes. So I am only looking to drop a couple Zetas and to maybe gear up a character to a level. I really want to replenish the amount of carbanes and stun cuffs particularly that I have on hand right now. First up, I'm taking advantage of the Vader Zeta, putting it on right now. I want that active before the next event. It looks like it's going to make a significant difference. The other Zeta I want to take advantage of is Kira. Not really a game changer, but since I am now consolidating my Smuggler team and my Old Republic team on defense, I want to beef up my Kira a little bit and make that team a little bit stronger. So we're going to definitely put on this Zeta. And depending on how many Omegas I have left, I don't really want to go much lower on the Omegas, but I would like to make this team a little bit better. Which of these is better? Bonus damage and exposes versus more damage. I'm going to hold off on those Omegas for now. I'm getting too low on those. I don't want to do more than that. But I will put on a couple pieces of gear. I'll put this eyeball on. I have one of these already crafted from a raid. But the rest of these are all carbanes. That's 200 carbanes right there that I just am not going to use when I only have 230. So that will be Kira for now. Vader I can take off of the favorites. I've been getting a decent amount of work out of Resistance Hero Finn, even at Gear 8. I think I want to just bump him up to Gear 9, see if I can make him that much better. That's one Carbani. I can live with that. Got plenty of those. We'll see how much better this makes him for this next Grand Arena. And I think that might be it. I'm going to put a couple pieces onto Karga before the next Grand Arena. I've been getting a lot of defenses out of my bounty hunter team, and if I can make them just a tiny bit better, I'd like to see that. But the rest I'm going to live with. That is going to be my gearing for this week. I'm really focusing more on hoarding up gear. I'm going to wrap up some quick thoughts on the channel. I'm considering playing Marvel Strike Force again. I didn't really want to play 2 of these games, but now that I'm hearing that the game has improved a lot since launch, I'm interested in giving it another shot. I played at launch up until Cable was released, and then I just got bored and decided to focus on Star Wars alone. But now, with how little is going on in the game, I kind of just wanted to see maybe the channel would benefit, and with the pandemic going on, I could have a little fun and maybe play it in a more frivolous way. I don't want to really focus on it in the same way that I'm trying to on Star Wars. But if you got to this point in the video, I'd be interested in your thoughts. It's kind of a double-edged sword because this channel hasn't really taken off. I have the opportunity to kind of build a persona with that game as well, along with Star Wars, or it could be better to just focus on one game, especially since Marvel is not a game I want to take all that seriously. I kind of want to just focus on the characters that I like, even though I'm actually a much bigger Marvel fan than I am a Star Wars fan. So that'll wrap up the video for this week. Be safe out there. Be excellent to each other. This has been Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.